This activity is definitely not for girls to see. The diagram below shows the male reproductive system. Welcome to Educate. Let us do this question from June 2024, Northern Cape Department of Education. So now here, they say the diagram below shows the male reproductive system. You can see it. So now, give the letter and the name of the following. I'm sure now you guys know definitely how to label this. Probably you see it in reality. So now, give the letter and the name. Great helps. When it comes to answering the questions, you need to be very careful. We might get all jokey and all funny and whatnot, but here, when it comes to answering the questions, you need to be careful. When they say give the letter and the name, you need to give the letter and the name. Do not just give the name or just the letter only. You will probably lose marks and tell yourself that you have made it in the exam whereas you didn't. So now they want a letter and a name of the following, which is the first one, a tube that temporarily stores sperm. Remember that sperm cells are temporarily stored in the epididymis of the male reproductive system. So the epididymis, it is that part, or it is that small tube, and it stores sperm cells. Okay, or they can say spermatids. Okay, it's just the same sense in a sense, but basically it stores sperm cells until they are mature. So basically here, this is part E in this diagram because it is just next to the testis. So this tube here, that is just next to this ball, the special ball of life. So this ball of life here, the testis, next to it there is an epididymis, and in this case it is part E. So when you write it, you are supposed to say 3.2.1, and A, you say that the answer is E. That's the letter, and then the name, you say epididymis. So this is epididymis. All right, whatever spelling that is, but it's fine. And then now they say, give the letter and the name of a gland. So we want a gland that produces a nutrient-rich fluid that provides energy for the sperm cell. Remember that we have got 3 accessory glands in life sciences here in the male reproductive system. Of course, we have got the seminal vesicle, we have got the prostate gland, as well as the corpus gland. So now the seminal vesicle, it is this one, which is part B, which looks like a leaf. So this is the part. So this one that looks like a leaf, it is known as the seminal vesicle. It is just a leaf shaped. It is part B. The prostate gland is the dark gland here that looks like a pea. Okay, I don't know, it's a pear-shaped or something, but basically it's a dark gland. And then we have got the corpus gland, which is this one. So each and every gland here, it secretes a certain fluid that helps with the sperm development and with the sperm growth and protection. So we know that starting with the seminal vesicle, it is the one that produces a nutrient-rich fluid. And that nutrient-rich fluid provides the energy for the sperm cells. So we can say that our answer there, it is B, because we have already identified that B is our seminal vesicle. So do not confuse the function of the seminal vesicle and the prostate gland. Remember, the seminal vesicle provides a nutrient-rich fluid, a fluid that has got nutrients, and then those nutrients will end up giving the sperm cells power so that they can be able to shoot out of the penis when it's time to do the marriage deed. Okay, so now the prostate gland, it contains, it releases or it secretes a fluid, and that fluid, what is its function? It is to protect the sperm cells from the acidic vagina, because remember that basically the sperm cells, they are at a risk of the attack from the acidic vagina. So basically the prostate gland serves as that. So please don't confuse those two functions. Whereas the corpus gland, it releases mucus, and the mucus just makes the sperm cells to be able to move smoothly. And then now 3.2.2. Now 3.2.2 asks us, explain why it is necessary for part F to be on the outside of the male body. First of all, what is the part F that we're talking about here? Part F that we're talking about here, we're talking about the testes. You can see that this is the special ball of the males. So this is known as the ball of life in my own terms, of course. So basically here, the ball of life, the testes, it must always stay outside of the body. The idea of staying outside of the body, It just means that it must hang, actually, in actual sense. That's why they quoted the outside with quotation marks. So it must hang outside the body. Why must the balls hang outside the body? It is because, remember that the test is basically for them to be able to produce sperm cells efficiently. They need to be at a temperature that is at least 2 degrees Celsius lower than the normal body temperature. So that is why the testes have to be disconnected, or they have to be dismantled, or they have to hang outside the body or hang away from the body. Okay, so that's why Samba Sling said. So basically here, to explain why part F is necessary to be outside, you have to explain that here, for efficient or for effective, you can use whatever English that is, but it must be in this context. So for efficient sperm production, all right. Okay, I just twisted my sentence. Okay, you should have said that to reduce to reduce the temperature by 2 degrees Celsius, which is efficient for sperm production or for spermatogenesis. But now you reorder the statement when you answer here. So for efficient or for effective sperm production, this part must hang outside so that it can lower the temperature, so that it can lower the temperature. You fix the English by 2 degrees Celsius, okay, below the body temperature. So basically that is why it is hanging outside, below the body temperature. Okay, below the body temperature. So that is why it is hanging outside, so that it maintains a temperature that is at least 2 degrees Celsius below the body temperature for efficient sperm production. So just a vice versa the statements when you answer. And then now 3.2.3, explain how can pregnancy be prevented if part labeled H is cut and sealed on both sides. What part is labeled H here in this diagram? Label H here, it is showing a tube. This is a tube, a long tube, the longest tube ever. And this tube, you can pretty much see that it is coming from the testes. This side is coming from the testes. So basically that is known as the sperm duct or the vas deferens. So the sperm duct, basically it is the one that transports the sperm cells from the epididymis and moves them all the way until they reach the urethra as semen. So basically for the sperm cells to move from these testes, because remember that the testes are the ones producing the sperm cells, the seed. Okay, so they're the ones producing the what? The seed. So that those sperm cells, for them to be able to reach the urethra, they need to be transported by the sperm duct. So now, how would pregnancy be prevented if we were to take part H, which is this sperm duct, and cut it and seal it? So we are cutting and we are sealing it. So we cut it probably with the scissors and then we seal it. So say bob. And then now when we seal it on both sides, what will happen? How does that prevent pregnancy? First of all, you need to explain the consequence of this. So the name of the procedure is known as vasectomy. So whenever talking about vasectomy, we are talking about the process whereby the sperm duct is being cut and sealed. So basically here, when we cut and seal this part, the sperm cells will not be able to reach the urethra, because basically this tube, this vas deferens, part H, guys, it is there to be able to transport sperm cells from the epididymis to the urethra. With the urethra, which is just this tube that is found basically here in the corpus cavernosum of the penis. So basically here we can say that the sperm cells will not be able to reach the urethra. Okay, so or the sperm cells are blocked. Okay, so sperm cells will not be able to reach the urethra, or you can say the sperm cells are blocked from reaching the urethra, because now the sperm cell the sperm duct, it has been cut and it has been tied. I mean, you cannot be able to move on something that has been cut and tied. Okay, once we cut our bond, once we cut our relationship, how can you move through it and pretend everything's fine? I mean, perfect. So basically the sperm cells will not be able to reach the urethra because they are being blocked. by this vas deferens that has been cut and tied. And then now, how does that affect pregnancy? How does that prevent pregnancy? You need to explain the pregnancy part, because there must be a connection between pregnancy and sperm cells. Verily, the sperm cells are the ones that cause pregnancy. So here we can say now, since the sperm cells are not able to reach here, to reach the urethra, the actual thing that is released during copulation, okay, the thing that is ejaculated, the fluid that is ejaculated by the male during copulation, it is what? It is just semen. But that semen does not have sperm cells, because the sperm cells, remember, I've said that they are being blocked since the sperm duct has been cut and tied, grade 12s. All right. So basically here we will have semen, but it won't contain sperm. Okay, so basically semen without sperm cells will be semen without sperm cells. So semen without sperm cells will be released, okay, or will be okay, it's fine, you can say whatever that you want. Ah. Okay, so basically the semen without sperm cells will be released. So basically the male can do the copulation, but basically the semen that will be released from that male, it will not have sperm cells. So basically it won't have sperm cells. And then now, since that the semen does not have sperm cells, there's no possible way of fertilization there. So there won't be pregnancy. So if the semen doesn't have the sperm cells, there won't be any fertilization, because remember, fertilization, it is being defined when a sperm cell and an ovum fuse to be able to make a zygote, which will later become a fetus and become a baby eventually. So basically, we say that no fertilization can take place. And when there's no fertilization, how in the world would you be pregnant? Okay, so basically, that's how we are preventing pregnancy, by cutting the vas deferens, by blocking the sperm cells so that they cannot reach where they need to reach, right? So no fertilization will take place, or no fertilization will occur. And basically here we've explained how pregnancy is prevented by cutting this vas deferens. So thank you very much, matriculants, for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to also like and recommend it to other people. Tell your friends to also stay tuned.